What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode 121 of your favorite show. This is Raw and Nerdy presents Starfield Part 2. I'm Rook.
And I'm Archon.
And you're wearing a brace, sir. Are you all right?
Oh, it's just a carpal tunnel thing.
I
literally... You are just super observant today, man. Like, right before we started recording, I was like, hang on, let me put this on real quick. And I was holding it like this, putting it on. And then he didn't notice it until I threw up a 2.
Oops.
Is it going to be one of those days?
It's going to be one of those days. So, yeah, as I said, we're bringing you another episode of Starfield Raw. Because since that's been the game that both of us have played together. Archon will talk a little bit about another game, and then we're going to spend a little bit more time talking about Firefly episode 5 and our thoughts of the season up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start off with the usual. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Last week, I got to be in the office. I didn't have to go out on route every day, so it was like a lot more chill. I mean, I was still going out doing a lot of things. I had one day where we were switching over one of our bigger clients to these new paper towel dispensers. So I had to go switch out all their paper towel dispensers with the new ones, which is roughly a 15 to 20 minute process. Ish, because you gotta, take it all apart, take the other one off the wall, put the new one on the wall, put it all back together and everything. So roughly about 15, 20 minutes or so. Well, they had 19 dispensers. So I was there almost all day. I left to go take a lunch break, came back, worked on some more. They had a lot of dispensers. So I was there for a long time. And it was a pickle factory. So like when I came home, I just like smelled like I took a bath in pickles because I was just in that smell all day long. I got back to the shop. Everybody's like, yeah, you were at the pickle place, weren't you? I was like, I sure was.
Nice.
So that was fun. But like, I mean, for the most part, it's been pretty chill. And I would still much rather do stuff like that than be on these routes from like super early in the morning until normal time, like 5, 6 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But this week I'm going to be working with one of the new guys. So 3 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to be getting up super, super early because this is our route that leaves super early in the morning. So it's going to be rough, but it's still, I get 2 days in the office.
That's not bad.
And at some point, I got like one of my manager meetings at like 9 a.m. that I have to try and do while I'm on the road with this guy. So that'll be interesting.
Nice.
But yeah, other than that, since I've had a little bit more time because I've been getting home a little earlier and less tired. I've been doing a little gaming, played a little bit more EverQuest. Just kind of tooling around on the server I used to play on there, having a good time, just leveling a rogue and just destroying everything because I still have like the best alt gear ever, just sitting there. And so I've been tooling around on there, and then like Friday night, I was like, got the itch to play some Dune because we've been talking about it, and that update's coming sometime soon, like within the next, like, it was in the developer update for this month, so I would assume it's going to be sometime this month is when they're taking out the PvP, which is going to make, well, they're making it optional, which is going to make this game 100 times more fun.
They're making it not mandatory for the end game.
Right. Which is huge because, I mean, this game went from like 200,000 average daily players down to like roughly 3,000 because of everybody got so sick of getting ganked in the deep desert all the time and not being able to like really enjoy the end game. Only a select few could because everybody was like, it was toxic. Now, something like a game like this 30 years ago would have probably been really cool. But nowadays, like, especially in the PvP area, like, people are super toxic in online games. And you just can't force it. I mean, you try and force it, and those toxic players are going to ruin it for everybody. And they do it on purpose. They literally do it to ruin other people's experience. And it just, I don't know. It made so many people quit. And I really, really hope that by them making this change, that it like brings people back to the game. Because it is a really good game. It is super fun. They've added a whole bunch of new content since even the last time I played. Like there's 2 whole new main chapters to the story that I'm looking forward to playing in. There's like, I've already noticed a bunch of differences and stuff in the lower end, and it's just, it's fun. Like the game is a lot of fun. Like I love this game. There's a reason why in a very short amount of time I had like 230 hours into this game already. Like it just, it grabs you and it constantly gives you stuff to do. And like I was going around today, I was in chat with Archon and my buddy Chris, or Archon. I was in chat with Rook and my buddy Chris, and I was going around like just like doing a couple quests and looking for a place where I might want to build my like mid-tier end base. And I'm seeing some of these bases that people have built now, and it's insane. Like some of these things are so big.
I was just, I'm in the chat and he's running around and they're talking like, holy cow, this place is huge.
Yeah. Like one of them looked like I'm not joking. Like one of the ones right by the anvil, like the main trade hub, looked like it was a built to scale Star Destroyer. It was that big. It was so big. It was like 20 stories tall, like 20 of those blocks tall. And then like, I think I counted 79 long.
Ooh, that's expensive on their
It was
taxes.
so huge. I know. They were probably paying taxes on like 6 lots at least. Six or more lots each.
Yeah.
And it had like the angled wings and the like bridge looking thing. Like it literally looked like it could have been a Star Destroyer.
Nice.
Not a Super Star Destroyer, but a Star Destroyer.
Yeah. Super Star Destroyer would take up the entire map.
Yeah. But I mean, it was huge. And then I went over to this one area where I really wanted to build, and there was just this like massive luxury, like this thing looked like it took the guy forever to build. And I kind of built semi near him, but not like to where I'm encroaching in his territory. Like I'm a little bit further off, but it's like at this really good spot where there's all the right materials I need are like going to be pretty close. Especially once I build my buggy and I get my ornithopter, I'm going to be like a short ornithopter fly away from all the titanium, and then a short buggy ride away from all the ethereum, which is the most annoying one to get usually because you got to go down in this big chasm to get it. But I'll be right by him, so I could just farm him a bunch. And
all right, so base. Hopefully the person you're built close to puts a big wall with a smiley face on it.
Oh, if we go through that again, just watch it be the same guy.
I don't know, because his place started getting deteriorated while we were still playing. Oh, he came back?
I said maybe he came back. Well, I'm on a different server now. I moved to a different.
Okay.
I moved to a different server because it's the only one currently that has like a medium population. Every other server has like a low population. So I wanted at least some people to interact with and have like a trade economy. So I went to that for now. I'm not sure what I'm going to do once the big patch comes. I might move the character to a different server, or I don't know. We'll see. I've noticed that one big thing I noticed is that they did add proximity chat to the game, which is kind of cool. Because I was running around like one of the areas, and some guys just walked up and they were like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I was like, "What the heck?" And then the guys like walked right up to me. They're like, "Hello? Oh, you must not have a mic or something, right?" And I like put my mic on. I was like, "Oh no, hey, I guess I didn't realize this game had proximity chat now." And they're like, "Oh, returning player," and like we just had like a little chat and stuff, and it was kind of cool. And then I was going through this like pump facility thing. You remember the like first quest, like one of the early quests where you go into this pump facility and it's like
the botanical gardens
underground and all that.
The
I was
testing
going through
labs.
there. Yeah. And I'm going through there, and all of a sudden I just hear some random guy like singing the theme song to Phineas and Ferb. I'm like, okay, I could vibe with this. So I don't know. It is kind of cool. Like that's one change that I thought was kind of cool, but I can only imagine in the deep desert that's going to be super toxic. But
I
once
don't.
the PvP's gone, maybe not.
Yeah, that was the biggest reason I stopped playing, was because you couldn't do the end game stuff because everybody just sat right at the entrance.
Yeah, they
The
just sat right
gantry.
at that line. There was like a line across the desert, and if you crossed it, they could kill you. And they just would sit in all the areas right around there and wait for you to cross that line and just wreck your face.
See, that's why I don't run in Elite Dangerous as much as I used to, is because of all the gankers that just sit out there, and they'll sit by all the engineers knowing that the young new people have to go in and get the stuff. Now, if they were role playing a character that was greedy and stuff like that in these games, I could respect that. That's role playing. I'm cool with it. But these people just sit out there for their own amusement to ruin everybody else's fun.
They're role playing themselves in real life.
And you're
Tools.
mentioning like 20 years ago, you could get what it would be more fun. Yeah. 15, 20 years ago, the communities were so, if you were toxic, they would kick you out in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah,
The
they'd come in force and like wreck you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember back in EverQuest, like there was people that would like be training the zone and stuff like that and getting people killed, and then suddenly you'd see like the whole guild show up in force and teach them a lesson. Like that's the way it used to be. Nowadays it's like you say anything about the fact that this person's doing anything and everybody just jumps on you and they're like, oh, QQ more, you're such a liar. It's
They
like,
do
dude, you're
that,
ruining the
or
fun.
they say, then don't play the game and stuff. It's like, dude, this isn't a primarily PvP game. I shouldn't have to go and expect PvP against somebody who has no on a MMORPG.
Right.
If you're not role playing a pirate or a whatnot, don't be a dick.
Right.
But
and
now,
they originally tried like making it to where they pushed the line up a little higher to where more of the desert was PvE and less of the desert was PvP. But then they put all the like major spice nodes still up in that PvP area, which means all they did was make it to where all the resources you need are in a smaller area now, which just made it easier for the gankers to get you because they didn't have to search as big of an area for you. It was just all in a smaller area.
I remember playing Star Wars Galaxies, and there were a couple of toxic players on there, and they kept ruining my chances of getting some equipment I was trying to get. So I was talking to my guild, and this is all in type chat globally. I wasn't using the guild chat or anything. I was just talking globally, role playing the character. And then a bunch of other people in the city all came up and said, "Oh, you're having a problem with this person too?" And we created this big posse to go out. We went out and just hunted them.
Dude, the one thing that I absolutely loved about Star Wars Galaxies, and the one thing I thought that they did absolutely right is if you were a tool like that, you could get bounties put out on you, and then people would like get rewards for going and killing you.
There were bounty hunters. Players would, and it was literally a class that
was awesome.
Players would put bounties out, and the bounty hunters would come after you.
Someone wants to be a tool, okay, you get a bounty put out on you, and then like everybody's out hunting you. Like that was awesome. And I wish people did stuff like that in Dune. It probably would be more fun, but they don't. It's just like you'll get like 10 guys that'll team up together and just sit in one place and just wreck people.
You won't have another setup like Star Wars Galaxies because you had your support classes who never had to go out and quest. They quite literally could sit in a cantina and dance or play music and give you buffs. Your smugglers could go around and build you traps. You had go to a bounty hunting mission board and place a bounty on somebody, and a bounty hunter could take that mission and go get that person.
Yeah, you actually had to be your class. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was. You had shipwrights. Any class could build a ship, but you had people who focused on only building ships. It was a full blown world that you not world, but galaxy that you are living in. It wasn't just here is all these things you can go do. No, everybody could do what they really wanted to do. And you don't see that in games like this anymore. And you don't see those kind of communities. So you get griefers and Dune who just want to sit there and ruin everybody else's fun.
Well, and the worst part is, like, with Dune, you could spend hours and hours and hours farming the materials to build your ornithopter and then go out into the deep desert. And if they shot you down and killed you, yes, you'd respawn, but they would be able to take most of your stuff, like all your armor, everything. They would take it, and your ship would be blown up. So you'd have to, like, basically start over and remake all your armor. You'd have to rebuild your ship, which would take more hours and hours and hours of farming, just because these tools decided to sit at the border and kill you the second you crossed. So most people who weren't, like, in a big community, or, you know, like, there were some people who would go out in groups of like 6 to 8 people and farm these areas still. But if you didn't have that, you just didn't cross that line, because if you did, you were hosed.
Yeah. Plus, another thing that drove me away is the people figuring out how to grief other players inside the non-PvP zone. That they patched it out fairly quickly.
Yeah, they fixed it. Yeah,
but
where you could, like,
just land an ornithopter,
on top of them so that they couldn't get out away.
And then the worm comes, you take off, and it eats them. But that means you had to know exactly what you had to time it just right. Otherwise, you get eaten by the worm too.
I mean, you had plenty of time. Like, you could leave like 3 or 4 seconds before the worm got there and still be fine, because, like, they couldn't get in their ship and take off in the amount of time that, you know, in those 3 or 4 seconds. It was just nuts. And I actually stumbled upon a way that I technically could have griefed someone today in the game if I wanted to.
How so?
I didn't, because I was being nice. But so they had, like, they're building, and you remember how we used to park our little bikes outside, like underneath our base at first, until we built like a garage and everything. We used to park them down there. Well, I noticed I was flying through to, like, following the edge of the sand and stuff, and, like, I accidentally, like, ran into the dude's bike, and I moved it, and I was like, oh, I could easily just, like, push this dude's bike right out into the middle to where any storms that came through would just wreck this dude's bike.
Oh, that'd been mean.
But I didn't. The thought crossed my mind, because I'm playing a Harkonnen this time, which is, like, the bad guys. So the thought crossed my mind, but I didn't do it because that would just be mean. I mean, bikes aren't near as hard to make. Like, they take very little mats to make, but
what I would have done if I was the devs, I would have set it up to where if you go out into, you're playing your game, you made your base, you made your vehicles, and then you park your vehicles inside the protection of your base. I would have made it to where when you're logged off, your power doesn't drain as fast, so all of your shield system stays up longer, and your vehicles wouldn't get destroyed if they were logged off in an area and somehow it became uncovered. That way, your base and stuff could deteriorate, but your vehicles or whatnot would still be there just to protect. Because you don't know what the person logged off for, or if they got things going on. Now, if they're gone for like, okay, because games can keep track how long you were on. I play Star Wars the old Republic still, and I can see the last person outside of my character that logged on was 156 days ago. So if you can see that, games can track how long you've been off, and if you've been off for say 2 weeks, all right, your protection's over because you haven't been logging in.
To be fair, like as long as you have power at your base, you have that shield that protects you from the storms.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me maybe 10 minutes of going out and farming fuel cells, and I have 26 days on my shield. That's how, I mean, it didn't take long to build enough fuel cells for 26 days worth of protection. So, I mean, that's kind of what you were what you're talking about. It's just this guy, like, he wasn't actually inside his base. He was just parked underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was still within the protection of his shields, but I could have pushed his bike out of the protection of his shields the way it was set up.
Yeah, but not everybody has the barriers unlocked or everything unlocked. So
you get that right away.
It would be to protect players from that kind of situation where you get a grief for just pushing your equipment out of your base.
Yeah, I mean, to be like, so if he had his bike inside of his walls,
mm-hmm.
like through one of his gates, I wouldn't have been able to do that. But he just had it sitting under his base, and like, there was nothing there to stop me from doing it. But like, when you first get your very first building kit, you can make doors and stop that from happening. Like, and your shield that you put up covers anything that's within your walls. It's just, he had his, like, the way he had it, he had like a little like almost like a carport instead of a garage.
So I'm surprised he didn't unlock the actual barrier you can put up yet, and just put that up around the bottom of your base. Then you can have your carport, and and you can set it up, and nobody can get through it.
The Penna shield, yeah, I have that. Okay, so I have that unlocked, but it takes steel, and I can't make steel yet. But I've only been playing for 2 days, so I mean, give me a few, and then I'll be able to make steel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's I love that game, dude. I'm having a blast. Like, everything that, like, they've added a lot more stuff that makes it a lot more fun. I think once people start coming back to it, it'll be a lot more fun. I think the reason why I'm seeing these massive bases though are because like the servers are less populated, so there's more places you can build. So like, there's not morons that build happy faces building right next to me, so I can make those expansions if I want to.
There's also another thing you're completely forgetting. Less people means less resource intensive servers. The server's not having to generate all of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and like, less people to compete with for materials. So like, you're able. Which I never really had a problem with that.
We never had an issue
until
with
the
that.
deep desert. Like, materials were always really easy to get until the deep desert.
Mm-hmm.
Once you got to that end game stuff, then it got a little complicated.
And there was times where I would just randomly team up with somebody. We'd go finish getting all the stuff, and then we'd go our happy separate ways.
Yeah. As long as you were in Haga Basin.
Yeah, as long as you're in Haga Basin.
And not in one of those crashed ships that are PvP either.
Actually, surprisingly, I ran through one of the crashed ships, and everybody was like, "Are you going to attack?" I was like, "No, I'm just here for one particular item." He's like, "All right, you touch anything else, and we'll kill you." I was like, "All right."
Yeah. And I don't know if it was this way before, but I can't remember. I want to say it wasn't, but I noticed that when I'm running through bases that other people are also running through, all the chests, I get loot, even if they just looted it.
No, that is something new, because you had to wait for it to reset back when people ran it before, when we put on the period right after launch.
Yeah, then that's different, because I noticed, like, I was running through while other people were running through, they were looting the chests, and then I'd walk up and it'd be full for me too. So that's kind of cool too. Oh no. It was like that in the PvE areas, but not in the PvP areas.
I don't remember that because every time I went through when somebody else went through and some of the like the water and stuff was already empty and there wasn't any water. I had to wait for it to reset.
Hmm. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
You played
Like I
longer
said,
than
I
I did
can't
too, though.
remember. Like I said, I can't remember. It might have changed before I quit. But I just like I like that feature. Like I do like that you're not like competing with the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
Who can get to the chest first? One guy occupies the mobs, is sitting there trying to kill guys that are shooting at him while the other guy just runs through and steals everything. I'm glad that that's not the case.
And the mobs, have they made the mobs respawn faster?
I think it's about the same.
Okay.
It's still just as hard as I remember it, though. Like, especially in the beginning, like it's hard. Like up until recently, I was like, both me and Chris were having issues with like running out of water because we weren't getting it fast enough. And if we go against like more than 2 enemies at a time, we're probably gonna die. And like it's pretty tough, and I like it.
Nice.
But
all right, so
yeah,
that turned into a long discussion about Doom and the changes you noticed.
Yeah.
Notice any other changes yet?
Not yet, but like I said, I've only been playing it for like 2 days, so I'm not very far into it. I noticed I didn't when I went to the town notice that like the economy is just jacked. I kind of wish. I don't know if playing on this server was the best idea because like even the most common things are like 200 to 300 Solaris or whatever the money is. I think it's Solaris. But
yeah,
like they're pricing everything stupid high.
That is any game these days because greed rules all, and there's not a huge player community.
Right.
So
yeah, you're basically not buying things from other players. You might, if you find something extra, throw it up and hope that somebody buys it, but you're probably not going to deal with any of that.
See, that is something I've noticed with modern gaming and MMOs. Another thing I've noticed anyway is you don't really have a player-based economy anymore. All the players, they'll get stuff and they'll throw it on the thing, but a lot of times the stuff you get through questing, you'll get there pretty quick. And then in a lot of games, the crafting isn't what it used to be, where you could craft stuff better than what you could get as quest rewards. Now it's the other way around, and makes because there's people out there that like to craft, and now in a lot of games, crafting is
In Dune, like you craft everything. Everything you wear, you craft. I mean, you do get some stuff from quests, but I haven't used anything that I've gotten from a quest yet.
But you have to craft it for yourself. I'm talking about games like WoW, Star Wars: The Old Republic, all that, where you can craft. Star Wars: The Old Republic's the only one that's still heavily into the crafting stuff because you can craft the add-ons onto your armor to make your cosmetic armor better. Yeah. But like Lord of the Rings, until you hit endgame, it's not worth crafting because you level up so fast, you level up past what you can craft. I'm not a happy fan of that, but it is what it is with the times because players just don't spend a lot of time on games like that. Like they
I remember when I was playing Lord of the Rings with you, and I was like, "Hold on, I'm gonna work on my crafting for a little while," and you're just like, "Dude, like, why? Like, what's the point?" I'm like, "Oh, but I can make this and make this." Yeah, and you won't be using it in 10 minutes. Like, come on.
I remember when getting to level 50 was a grind in Lord of the Rings. I remember when Star Wars: The Old Republic was a grind to get to end level. And I was so happy when I finally got a character to end level. And now, within 2 days, I can have a character at max level because it's just leveling so fast in those games. It's
like that with EverQuest. I made that. Go ahead.
It takes the fun out of it to me because while yes, they level lock the zones to where it brings you down to a level within
Right.
the range of that zone. Star Wars: The Old Republic, I'm going to use because it's the one that's freshest on my mind. It used to be, I would be lucky if I got level 10 before I left the starting zone.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm almost to level 20 before I leave the starting planet. And then when I get to Coruscant, I'm already I'll out level that zone really fast.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like level 22 or something when I left. And yes, they do, like you said, they level lock it, so you're only level 10, but you're still using like level 20 gear. So your stats are like maxed for a level 10, so you still just absolutely destroy anything you're fighting.
Yeah. And
Kind
you
of
have
makes the
all
game
those other
trivial.
skills unlocked, and you can still use those higher level skills.
Right. They just scale your damage down a little, but it's still, I don't know. It does trivialize it a lot. It's like I was going to say with EverQuest, like I made that rogue or whatever I made it on Monday, played for a couple hours each day, and I'm level 48, I think already. Like I leveled him so fast.
All right, so I'm not going to really talk about my week because I'm more interested in talking about Starfield.
Well, that is your week, kind of.
Sort of.
That's what you played a lot of.
I played a bit of it. I've also played some other games, but I'm going to forego talking about my week. I've noticed we do have a community that still likes playing Starfield and still likes us talking about Starfield. So
yeah, they were really active for like the first couple days, and then everybody got really quiet the last few days.
They only got quiet just because everybody's probably gaming or working. But so I've been playing a lot of Starfield. Back into the level 20s or something like that on my character. I'm actually loving the free lanes update. I find myself, instead of fast traveling to everything, just using the cruise mode and just cruising along. Because honestly, that when I'm cruising along, I'll either do one of the little pop-ups that POIs that pop up, or I'll just go and do real life stuff and take care of that while I'm traveling to our gut because of autopilot. But the POIs they put in, I'm noticing the planet-based POIs are actually more diverse. I'm coming across more places, like instead of just, oh, this was a deserted out UC outpost, I'm finding firing ranges, training grounds. I found a missile silo today and launched a missile. I don't know what that missile's doing, but I launched the missile.
Oh.
It sucks because I wanted to run outside and watch it launch. No, it locked the doors, so I couldn't get out.
Aww.
But I couldn't find any signs of it making impacts anywhere or whatnot. So I'll probably Google to see if it actually does anything more. Because personally,
Don't
I
Google,
didn't
just
find anything.
wait. You might run into it.
I might, but it's also now if I go to my dream home and my dream home's destroyed, I'm going to have problems because it was on the planet my dream home's on.
I mean, you might, like, knowing Starfield, you might, like, run into a random ship that's, like, floating in space. Like, half the ship is floating, and then, like, you find them, and they're like, yeah, we got hit by some wayward missile that came flying through.
This is an ICBM size missile, not a small missile.
Oh, okay. Well,
this is a missile silo. You're inside of it, launching from underground.
You may find like another planet or something where they're like, our town got devastated by a random missile that hit like 6 miles outside town. And
now that would be interesting if I run around on another planet in the system, and it's because I am exploring the Olympus system. If I come across another planet and there's devastation on there from a missile I launched, not realizing it was going to do something like that, because you don't put any coordinates in. You just literally put 3 batteries in the missile, and then you run up and push the launch button.
You go to New Atlantis and half of it's destroyed or something.
You start a new war.
Oh, man. That would be pretty immersive. I would feel very immersed.
Oh, yeah. But they got also, and I'm coming across a lot more. Like you'd always come across collapsed mines or abandoned mining outposts. I'm actually coming across more populated ones with actual mines that are currently being worked. And it's like, I don't remember all this stuff. The new POIs, it's more entertaining and more justifying why there's so many POIs. Right. But they have cut back how many POIs appear around your ship. I've come across some planets or some moons where I have 1 or 2 POIs. I can't find any more in the immediate landing zone that I landed at.
Yeah, plus like you were kind of touching on, like it's more than just, you find these abandoned facilities that you're getting attacked by spacers or whatnot. It's like actual people, NPCs, like that aren't trying to attack you there, like that you can interact with and stuff. It's kind of cool. It makes it feel more lived in.
Oh yeah,
I've definitely noticed that.
And going to the different UC abandoned places, like there was an abandoned experimental weapons post. I came across an abandoned UC training grounds that was just loaded with weapons and ammunition that I had to fight a few spacers, which would make sense. A spacer would go find a place like that.
Yeah. Keep an eye out, because I've heard that like some abandoned UC facility, like if you run into it, like in the hangar, you'll find like a new ship. There's some new ship that's you're supposed to be able to find it like at one of these random POIs, and people say that the abandoned UC facilities are like the main ones that you find.
I haven't found any abandoned UC facilities with actual ships in them yet.
Okay, well, keep an eye out, because there's a new ship that's chilling in one of them.
That's what I'm doing, and I'm actually finding driving the Rev 8 around is a lot more beneficial when I'm exploring, because I'm finding myself picking up everything I can possibly sell, resource and stuff, because I'm trying to build a new ship and I want money. So you can't fast travel when you're on foot overloaded, but once you're in that vehicle, if you need to quickly get back to your ship or something and you don't have a lot of time, you can fast travel while you're in your vehicle. I'm driving around because I'm using the Rev 8 since it has better control than the other one that I downloaded from the Creation Center. But so far, this game is pulling me back in. I find myself thinking, how can I design a ship? They need an offline ship builder or out of game ship builder that has all the parts so you can schematic one up and then open it up and copy it in the actual game.
Because like a mobile app.
A mobile app.
When you're sitting at work with nothing to do, you're like building a ship.
Yeah, because sometimes I just want to sit back and watch TV and actually design my ship. I don't want to have to go and make sure I got the money I just want to design it so I have the look right. So when I get back into the game, I can actually build it. What I'm trying to do, and if anybody out there wants to give me a hand with this, I have the screenshots of my Corvette in No Man's Sky. I'm trying to build that in this game. But Starfield stuff, it looks a little bit different, so it's hard for me to figure out what I want to put where to make it look right.
Yeah, you have that one mod that lets you overlap parts and stuff, and then you can...
They do have... Don't forget, they did make it where the flip glitch merging is part of the game now. It's actually a setting you can turn off and on inside the game. I want to give a shout out to YouTuber Lyndon, because I was watching him and he's the one that actually showed the flip glitch. He has some actually pretty good builds on there. So if you want to see some cool builds, I recommend checking him out. He actually explains to you how he did it and all that, and what mods and what habs and everything. He has a good breakdown on his ship builds. But I was watching him and I heard of the flip glitch, but I never used it. I always used the drop down glitch, but it's supposedly really effective. Now, his game's heavily modded too, so he actually has other ways of doing stuff, but he shows that the flip glitch, even with his mods, works really well. But Mossy, and if by chance Kilo, y'all reach out and I'll give y'all screenshots if y'all want to take a crack at trying to build my ship in Starfield. I want to try because I want to modify it once I get it done being built. We'll turn it into a little destroyer with 2 massive cannons on it. I'm talking about like World War II ship cannons. I'm gonna download that mod specifically so I had that design of guns.
Well, if you ever want just free range to be able to do whatever you want monetarily wise with a ship, let me know. Because I know a way to get you as much money as you want without taking the achievements away. Just saying, it doesn't block your achievements.
Now I'm trying to be legit.
No console. It's not a There's no console commands involved.
I did find out. I think it was Lyndon, and the reason I wanted to give him a shout out was because he actually, I think it was him that showed the money route. There's a loop you can do in Neon because Neon has all of their vendors right there. Mm-hmm. And they have more vendors than most of the other places that you can just do a giant loop. If you have a lot of gear to sell it all, sleep, and then do that loop again.
Yeah, this is a little less legit way.
But I haven't stolen it. I stole one ship. And I don't think I stole the ship. I think I liberated the ship. It used to be Ecliptic. It's mine now. I'm trying to come across the hyena, but every time I get close to it, it takes off. Or the one time I came across it in space, I was not a Class C operator, so I couldn't steal it. I took it out, got aboard, went to go operate. I was like, I can't operate this because I'm not Class C, and it has a Class C reactor. How rude.
Yeah.
But now I'm actually finding myself really loving this game again. The exploration, when you're not max on everything for exploration, actually takes a little bit longer because you got to get closer to everything. But thankfully, I remembered, hey, ocean has life. So I was like, why am I missing these? I had one that was saying every biome was 100%. And I'm like, I can't figure out why I can't finish this. And then it clicks. It's like, oh, wait, water. So I went to the coastal area and there's all the creatures remaining. The last 2 creatures I need to scan.
That'll do it.
Yep. But I'm loving the game. I can't speak highly enough of Bethesda's work they're putting in the game. Yeah, they're not giving out the info like a lot of other developers are doing. But if you actually look at Bethesda's history, that's how they operate. It's not a live service game, so you're not going to get live service updates. But they are working on the game. Take Cyberpunk 2077 for Project CD Red did not put out a lot of information about what they were doing. They just said, hey, we're trying to fix this game. And then you just get random patches until they got the game where it's at now. So I'm satisfied. They're doing a good job. They're doing the updates in the right way. I just wish they would get with Microsoft and put Halo outfits inside the game.
Get with Microsoft. They're owned by Microsoft.
That's what I'm saying. Get with Microsoft and say, hey, we want to get with Halo Studios and actually port over some Halo parts.
Right.
But
yeah, I think this patch was good for the game. Like,
it was
the DLC and the patch, like,
and the PS5 release.
I do think it's funny. This kind of goes with what we used to say a long time ago, though. But I think it's funny that they call this a DLC, but they called Shattered Space an expansion, and this is easily as much, if not more, content than Shattered Space was. That they added.
Well, I would say Shattered Space was a DLC, and Terran Armada is a DLC. But the the Free Lanes update is more of a expansion. But they don't really expand more. Shattered Space, the reason why they called it is because they gave you another system. They need to, if they're going to release another expansion, they need to add more systems into the game or give us the ability to make space stations and make habitable environments on terraform worlds. Start working on that.
Yeah, I mean, Terran Armada's, I would say, as much of a content as Shattered Space was.
Yeah, but I could say the same thing about a mod. I'm trying to think of the name of the mod, and I can't remember it now.
Watchtower?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, but Watchtower wasn't Bethesda.
I know, but Bethesda heavily backed it. They actually now recommend it as well.
Yeah, because it was so good. But like, I'm just saying, like, that's why I never like when I felt betrayed when they said, "Oh, we're going to release our expansion, Shattered Space," and it didn't really feel like an expansion.
It felt like a DLC, not an expansion.
It was just a DLC, yeah.
Added one system and story art for that really didn't tie into the rest of the universe at all.
At all.
If it would see, that's where I'm having Terran Armada. I like because it's affecting the universe.
Right.
If you hit some of these free lane POIs, they talk about coming across a ship that had humanoid robots that weren't like the clunkers you see in
right.
the settled systems, and the ship's been destroyed and stuff.
Even Watchtower like affects the entire world because no matter where you go, you just randomly get attacked by these Watchtower ships that are like annoying.
And you can jump into a system, get attacked by them while there's other settled system ships there, and they're being affected by it.
Right.
But Terran Armada, I hear people when I land at ports and stuff talk about the Terran Armada or the unknown ships that are appearing. It feels more what I would like is once you solve, and I don't remember if they did this, but once you solved the mystery with the Varun, I wish the embassy would have been cleared up and fully functional. You see a change there and see them actually, other Varun in the settled systems, starting to make peaceful contact or attempting to be peaceful while you still got zealots out there causing problems. Yeah. That would have been an interesting dynamic to see put into the game.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you because I never even finished the Shattered Space campaign.
I did, and
annoyed by it, and then just kind of let it go.
It's just one of those things where there's obvious things to me they could have done to make it feel more like an expansion versus some DLC that you play and you doesn't really affect the rest of the story.
Right.
Yeah, and
I'm glad to think about.
They've also made updates to going through the Unity, which I like. You can now take some gear with you.
Yeah.
Which is nice because...
And you now don't have to go through the Unity if you don't want to, because you can like upgrade your powers and do all that kind of stuff without going through the Unity.
Yeah, now you just go to the temples or fight other Starborn when they appear, and you get some essence that you can use to upgrade your powers. Because the only reason why I went through the Unity was to attempt to get the 15% chance of getting one of the alternate things.
Special universes, yeah.
That's where I also think Bethesda still drops the ball. Todd Howard is adamant about, when he talks about it, he said that going through the Unity and the way they did their New Game Plus was misunderstood. With me, he mentions that you could go through and have a chance of seeing another different type of universe. Increase that chance, or give the players the ability to go into the settings and increase that chance. Otherwise, it's just, all right, I'm playing the exact same stories I've already played. Give me a chance to have some slight variation of some sort.
Yeah.
You don't even have to make it where one of the special universes pops up. Make it where, all right, so you go through to Unity. Now in this world, the Crimson Fleet's a massive threat compared to what they were in the previous world.
Well, it's like the one the one special universe you can get where like you get to Constellation and Andrasia's there with all the Varun and they like took over.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa. I've never seen that one. I would love to see that. I'm really interested how the story would progress like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that'd be interesting to see. Or like Sarah's a plant. Like what?
Yeah, there's some that are just stupid, but there's some
goofy.
that had good ideas, and there's some missed opportunities by Bethesda. But
I feel like they should have done some like really dramatic ones, like where like the Freestar Rangers won the war. Like that would be and they were like the war.
The colony war?
Yeah. Like what if you show up to New Atlantis and it's ran by the Freestar Rangers instead of the UC?
Oh, you're talking about instead of a peace agreement, they just totally annihilated
they just outright
the
won.
UC. Yeah. Okay.
And it was the UC that was off on like some random planet trying to gather followers and stuff like if it was, that would be crazy. Like just a universe like that would be so cool.
Or one where you go through and they're actually at war.
Yeah.
You actually have to choose a side. See, this would be expansion level content to add to a new game plus, because then you're affecting the story of the game.
Or you'd like, yeah. What if now hear me out here. What if like they gave you, it was more Mass Effect like where they gave you choices. Okay. So instead of going through and doing the UC quest line and the Freestar quest line and the Crimson Fleet quest line and all that, you pick like say you picked to do the UC quest line. Then when you went through the Unity, that affected the next world you got because you chose the UC. Or say, well, you chose the Crimson Fleet, and then when you go through the Unity, now the Crimson Fleet runs everything. Like, that would have been cool.
That would have been interesting. Having your choices like that matter when you go through Unity for a new game plus reset.
That would be fun.
That would be interesting. But how about if you went through and you were locked, say, here's another way they kind of dropped the ball-ish, because if you're a UC Vanguard, something tells me that Freestar wouldn't necessarily trust you well enough, especially only 20 years after the war, trust you enough to actually be a ranger with them and part of the UC Vanguard, or vice versa.
Right. You wouldn't be able to do both. That's what I'm saying. Like, what if you did, like, it made you choose one or the other?
Yeah, they should have locked you out between the two. Now,
it's kind of like when you choose your little starting perks and stuff. If you choose one, you can't choose the other. Like, they should have done the same thing with the storylines.
Or they should have made it to where, all right, you can do, say you went UC Vanguard, you can do Freestar Collective, but you got to denounce your loyalty to the UC.
Right, you can't do both.
Yeah, so then even if you're in the middle of the Vanguard quest line, you got to drop it. You're not going to have access to it anymore.
Or like I said, if you choose the Crimson Fleet, then when you go through the Unity, the Crimson Fleet are running everything, and you have to do a quest line with the UC or whatever to try and gain control back.
That would be cool. But
yeah, like that would be so sweet.
That would be. How about this one though? You go and do the Crimson Fleet storyline, and then when you go through the Unity, you're being hunted by the Crimson Fleet. Because
and you have to join up with like the UC to like try and get the universe, like the galaxy back.
Yeah, and the UC the Crimson Fleet's being ran by another Starborn and you don't know it. You actually have to go out and try stopping them from hunting you, but you don't realize they're hunting you at the beginning while you're working with the UC or Freestar Collective. But it operates a little bit like the bounty hunter background, the wanted background. But instead of the wanted background, you're actually being actively pursued by whatever faction that you finished or did with the previous run through. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be really cool if you like run the Mass Effect or the Avowed route where like your choices actually affect something when you go through.
Yeah, that would be cool. Todd Howard, if you're listening,
instead of oh yeah, you just get a different like vision in the Unity at the end. No, like make it mean something. Especially now that you don't have to go through the Unity anymore. Like make it mean something if you do go through the Unity. Like
I get that was their end game. I get that was their end game, and Unity was meant to be their new game plus.
Right.
But they have an opportunity to make it a different style of new game plus.
Yeah, that'd be wicked cool.
Because you could literally start it off everything the same until you get to Constellation. But once you get to Constellation, have some events happen that actually has everything different. Or
you could do it like, I mean, I know it would take a lot more programming, but like if the Crimson Fleet are running things like maybe when you, instead of going to New Atlantis to the lodge to meet up with the youth or the whatchamacallit, the Constellation,
yeah.
Maybe their base is on like Aquila and you have to hide a little bit more from, because the Crimson Fleet is running things, so you have to hide a little bit more over here, and you're still doing the main quest, but you're not doing it in New Atlantis this time because you can't, or something.
Yeah. Or you gotta go rescue the main cities. You gotta
from
eventually
the other factions or whatever.
Constellation is no longer just a exploratory neutral party. They're actually the ones fighting back against Crimson Fleet.
They're like the resistance. But like, I mean, you still have like your Ryujin quest lines and your other quest lines that you do every single time, but like have like a variation in the main story because of the choices you made before.
Yeah,
that'd be sweet. Now that would have kept me playing the game.
Yeah, that would be because there's no telling what the powers of what the going through the Unity could really affect. We know in game, you come back as a Starborn, you have more power. You're still you're still you, but everything else is a reset. But what if you going through the Unity, seeing your experiences and modifies the world? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, honestly, even the changes they made now where like you can get all the powers and things like that without going through the Unity, if that had been the original way the game released, I would have probably put in at least 3 times as much into the game, because the thing that burned me out was having to go through and redo all that stuff all over and over and over again to like try and get my powers up. I got burnt out of doing the same thing over and over and over and over. If I could have been like, out just like hunting down Starborn and increasing my powers and just keeping the same playthroughs going through and not having to go through the Unity, I would have. I would have had a lot more fun with it. I would have kept it all to like one good playthrough instead of getting burned out doing the same thing over and over.
All right, so that was our talk on Starfield.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it was.
Dude, I like that. We came up with some good ideas. So if anyone wants to make a really cool mod that's equally as good as Watchtower, the Unity one would be insane.
Oh yeah, that would be insane. And if that one took off, Bethesda would probably buy the rights up to that one pretty quick. All right, so
man, I wish I knew how to write mods.
I just ain't got the time. Not the time to do it, the time to learn to do it and then do it.
Right, exactly.
All right, so that was our talk on Starfield. You want to continue this discussion? You can hit us up on our Discord at discord.gg /Rob podcast, or you can hit us up down in the comments below. Let's continue that discussion. For now, we're moving on to Firefly, episode 5.
Episode 5.
The one I've been talking and making hints about this entire 5 episodes.
Yeah, this was a good episode, and I noticed something right off the bat. I want to see if you remember, because you jumped the gun and watched it a little early. But did you notice anybody in the episode?
There were a lot of people in the episode.
But I mean, did you notice any particular person in the episode, like right near the beginning, that just like as soon as I saw it, I was like, holy crap. Not only do I feel old, but holy crap.
Probably not, because I'd had to feel old.
Well, I did. When they did at the very beginning of the episode, when they did the flashback of the Doctor and River when they were young.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see who played the Doctor?
I don't remember him off the top of my head.
It was Zac Efron as a little kid. Like he was like 10 or 12 years old.
Oh my God. I would have never picked up on that because I didn't think of Zac Efron as a little kid back then, because I didn't know
Zac Efron, dude. He was so young, and I paused it because my daughter was like doing her friend's nails like behind me. I was like, dude, look at who this is. And she looked, and she's like, oh my gosh, is that Zac Efron?
All right, yeah. So I did a Google.
That was quick.
I Googled Zac Efron Firefly. The very first article, because you know how Google puts up the name of the actor and then all of their pictures and stuff. It was funny because I put it up there, and the very first thing was a Reddit post. That moment when you realize Zac Efron was in Firefly.
Yeah. Holy cow. Like, that blew my mind. I saw it. I was like, what? Is that Zac Efron?
From what I'm understanding, that was his first TV role ever.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta IMDb it now.
Yeah, I did not realize that was him because, to be honest, Zac Efron young looked like the Doctor when he was young. It was actually a really good casting for that.
Okay, Zac Efron. Is it gone? Okay, let's see. All his credits as an actor. See all. Let's see what his very first role was. His very first role was young Simon in Firefly. Yep. In 2002, and he was born
not much before that.
Well, yeah, I mean, Zac Efron was born in 1987, so he would have been 15. He'd have been 15 when he played young Simon. That was even before his
Zac Efron's not much younger than me.
He was actually in quite a few things before.
He's actually older than my brother.
Yeah, he was in the scene for about 4 years before High School Musical. I thought High School Musical, that was the first thing I ever saw him in, was High School Musical. That I remembered. But yeah, young Simon in that, immediately I was like, what? I recognized him immediately. It's like, there's no way. But yeah, that was his very first role, I guess. You heard it here first. Now go watch the episode and you'll see a young.
No, you didn't hear it here first, but if you didn't know,
had the gap in his teeth and everything, yeah.
But that was a good casting choice because Zac Efron, that at 15, looks like a young version of Sean Meyer.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think the girl who played River really looked like Summer Glau, though.
That is the problem with trying to get somebody that
right.
You really got to find somebody, but they chose to go with somebody that was a good actress in that regard versus a really good lookalike. They just happened to hit the money on Zac Efron.
Yeah, I think they did a pretty good job with that. But yeah, this was a big episode as far as, both of those characters go. River
Yeah.
and Simon. Like, huge
The
character
witch.
development, and we learned a lot about some of the things that she can do now.
But I'm really, really, really interested in Book, because this is the episode where you realize there's something with Book.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
And he's
the
like, I would love to tell you that story someday.
yeah, but it's interesting to me because when they needed it most, they go to a UC ship, an alliance ship. They go to an alliance ship, and the alliance officer is degrading all of this like a typical military officer.
Exactly what you think he would be. Yep. I'm just
Yep.
gonna send him away.
Yep. And then Book, barely conscious, says his credentials are in his pocket. I forgot the
Run my
exact.
ID card. Basically,
Yeah.
he's like, ID card.
They pull it.
Basically all he says.
And you don't hear anything. All they literally do is show it to the captain, and he goes, "Get this man in the ship now."
Yeah, he says, "Get this man into an emergency room immediately." Like, something
Yeah,
is up
but
with Book, and we'll find out. But
we hope we find out,
yeah, I hope they didn't. That's
because
not
it's
something
one
that they left
season,
out.
and that wasn't one of the big story arcs they were trying to cover. So
Yeah, I hope they tell us. That'll bug me if they leave that open ended. But
I don't even think, I don't know if they actually did. I don't remember if they really played on it much after this episode.
well, we'll find out together.
Yeah, I don't think they did, but I'm not sure. I don't remember. I've watched this thing so many times that there's certain scenes that I remember more than others, and that is just one scene that sticks in my head so hardcore. I could not tell you until I watched that episode how he got in that predicament, but I could remember him saying "ID in my pocket." Yeah, and they're trying to do all of this while the doctor is kidnapped to save this village, and then witch.
Yeah, I know.
The Salem witch trials again.
Yeah, that was wild. I like how, like, Jane's first, like, Book's sitting there, like, bleeding out, like, dying, and Jane's like, "You got the money, right?" Hey, dude, come on.
Jane's greedy. He's all about the money.
Yeah, because as soon as he thought that they weren't going back for the doctor, he was in his room raiding his stuff, stealing his money, trying to take his nice shirt. And
when he's back, he quickly runs in there, dumps everything back on the bed, and walks out like, "Yeah, hi, doc."
Yeah, so glad you're back.
The one thing I wish they would have pursued a little bit more, I wish the episode could have been a little bit longer than just 40, 30, 45 minutes, was the interaction in the town, more of an investigation thing. But the way they were portraying, crap, what's her name again? River. I don't know why that slipped my mind. I was thinking Summer. But the way they were portraying her at that time, it made sense the route they went. But I would have loved to see an investigation episode where they're trying to get the people to realize this mayor murdered the previous mayor.
Right. Like, she starts calling him out on it, and he realizes she's right and just, like, slaps her immediately, like, "Shut up.
These are the words of a witch."
Yeah, she's trying to, like, he straight up says she can read minds. Then you should know that she's telling the truth. Like, she's trying to manipulate you.
This episode had a lot going on in a really short amount of time.
Yeah. I actually, at first I'm like, I know they're trying to get, Book help, but, like, he just left him. Like, just left him. Okay.
I love how
hopefully he's going back.
They're up
I knew he was, but
they're up in the hills, and they're like, "Don't worry, Captain will come for us. And there you see Firefly and Serenity just taking off.
just flying off, and he's like, huh. But then, like, that's another moment where it showed, like, Summer, like, or River was, like what she could do, and because, like, when she's on the cross, like, you think she's talking about that they're going to die when she's like, time to go. You think she was talking about they're going to die, but then all of a sudden Serenity shows up and, Malcolm comes running in and, like, you're like, oh, so she can, like, see the future. Like,
I don't think she saw the future there. I think she probably has a heightened sense of hearing or something and heard them coming. Or she sensed Malcolm's mind as he was approaching.
That's possible. Like, she knew, but she knew what was going on. But, like, the whole
so
2x2 hands of blue, like she knows what's going on. Like, she can see things before they're going to happen. Like,
well, the 2x2 hands of blue was the guys wore those
blue rubber gloves, yeah,
at the facility too. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think, yeah, because when they were hunting them down,
but she was talking about it like as it was happening, though, the 2x2 thing, like as the guy was there, like in that
doing the
scene,
questioning. Yeah,
doing the questioning with the blue gloves on and stuff. That's when she, like, suddenly just got the urge to say it. So I don't know.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. She has a lot going on, and how Summer portrayed River in that situation with her being so naive of what's going on around her.
Right. When she's like, don't worry, Daddy will come get us and take us home. I'm like, maybe Daddy Reynolds, but not Daddy.
Maybe she thinks of Reynolds as her dad.
I don't know.
I mean, Reynolds in this short amount of time has done more for her than her dad did.
True. It almost seemed like the parents knew what was going on with her.
That's the opinion
and was trying to keep him away.
Because he was making some very logical arguments, and the parents just flat out ignored those arguments.
It was almost like it was more than ignoring. It was like they were trying to brush it under. Like, oh, don't worry about this. Like, she'll be home before you know it. Like, just forget about it. Just go back to what you were doing. Like, it's like they knew about it and wanted to keep it from him.
It's almost like maybe they were getting paid decent money for the daughter being there.
Yeah.
Because the way they were answering and rubbing everything off, I never thought about that the previous times until me and you talk about the show.
Yeah.
There's some nuances about the show you don't really think about until you're sitting here talking about it. It's like those parents had to have been on it because the way they're answering questions.
When he was, like, trying to work it out and stuff, and his dad's like, if you keep pursuing this, like, I'm going to wash my hands of you. Like, I'm not going to help you anymore. I'm going to, like, basically disown you. Like, it seemed like he was trying to help cover it up. Like, he knew what was going on.
Yeah, that's just crazy. There's just so much that nuances that Josh Whedon put in this.
Yeah. But we are running late. And I want to ask you one more question before we leave, and it has nothing to do with anything we've talked about yet. So I just want to add a quick question before we wrap it up.
All right, shoot.
Did you watch the Street Fighter trailer?
No.
Oh, dude, you got to watch it.
Dude, I've been watching the Mortal Kombat trailers.
Right, but I want to talk to you about the Street Fighter trailer on the next episode. So watch it before that's your homework.
All right, then you got to watch the first 2 episodes of Maul Shadow Lord. By the way, for those of you who like Star Wars, watch this show. It is amazing.
I'm going to watch it. I'm just like, Dune.
Hey,
just dude.
I'm sorry. I run most of the shows I'm watching are on the TV right next to me.
I know, but something like that, like I'll be hyper focused on the show, and then I'll just like if I'm playing Dune at the same time as I'm watching that, I'll die of thirst because I'll just be sitting there like, well, my guy's water just slowly runs out. So I got to focus on it. Like, I had to turn it off earlier. I'm like, all right. I just told my buddy Chris, I was like, all right, I have to turn this off so I can go watch this episode. I have to do it. So,
all right, man. Well, so it's the end of our episode, as Mr. Archon said, because we are, I think, an hour and 10 minutes into recording this.
About an hour and 18.
Yeah.
We're pretty far.
That Starfield discussion went a lot longer than we expected. But
and the Dune one.
Like we meant, yeah, definitely the Dune one. Like we mentioned before, if you want to continue this conversation, do it down in the comments. Hit us up on our Discord, discord.gg/raw podcast. It'll also be linked in the comments. So will our Facebook and Instagram. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, please like and share because that helps us out with the algorithm. Subscribe too, please. Give us feedback. If there's an area about the show that you think we can improve upon, we want to make the show better for y'all. We will accept any feedback. That is a big way for us to improve and to make some shows more enjoyable. Also, if you have editing experience and you want to take a crack at editing, we are looking for somebody who can spend more time editing than the amount of time I have available or Archon has available. So we would greatly appreciate
next to none.
Yeah. We greatly appreciate any assistance. We can discuss offline. So hit us up in the Discord or hit us up on our email, which is podcastraw@gmail.com. Then we can work out specifics and discuss that offline. But we are officially looking for an editor that can put more time and effort into editing our podcast and our YouTube. I don't think there's anything else I need to add.
I think we covered everything.
All right, cool. So for those of you who are watching the show and listening to it and enjoying the show, y'all stay nerdy.
We'll see you next week, guys.